So, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, a few hours ago, announced that he's no longer going to be running for Prime Minister of Canada and he'll be stepping down in a few weeks. And this, let me put it this way, if you're Canadian and you are surprised by this news, then you would have been living under a rock. I think everyone in Canada knew that this was going to happen. Everyone was anticipating that this was going to happen. I think we were just waiting for the next shoes to fall. No one in Canada thought that Justin Trudeau could survive this. So, as I said, this announcement is no surprise to any Canadian, unless you're living under a rock. But what I would like to talk about today, what the media is not going to tell you is why did Justin Trudeau really step down? And that is what I'm going to cover today. So here it is. Justin Trudeau announcing his resignation.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, step up to the microphone now. Let's listen in.
Bon matin. Every morning I've woken up as Prime Minister. I've been inspired by the resilience, the generosity, and the determination of Canadians. It is the driving force of every single day I have the privilege of serving in this office. That is why, since 2015, I've fought for this country, for you, to strengthen and grow the middle class. Why we rallied to support each other through the pandemic, to advance reconciliation, to defend free trade on this continent, to stand strong with Ukraine and our democracy, and to fight climate change and get our economy ready for the future. We are at a critical moment in the world. You all know I'm a fighter. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because I care deeply about Canadians, I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And the fact is, despite best efforts to work through it, Parliament has been paralyzed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history. That's why this morning I advised the Governor-General that we need a new session of Parliament. She has granted this request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 24th. Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Okay, so that was Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, announcing his resignation. And what I know that is going to happen is that the media is going to come out and they're going to spin and they're going to spin and they're going to tell you why they think he resigned. They're going to tie it to Donald Trump bullying him, and they're going to say all type of things. But I'm going to tell you the real reason why Justin Trudeau had to step down. So Justin Trudeau had to step down because immigrants turned on Justin Trudeau. So Justin Trudeau and the Liberals have enjoyed support from immigrants for decades. Like the Liberal Party is seen as the party of immigrants going way back in Canadian history. And Justin Trudeau, I would say, was privileged because of his father's legacy. Pierre Trudeau was seen as one of the most loved prime minister in Canadian history, in particular when it came on to immigrants. Pierre Trudeau enjoyed success from 1968 to 1979 and then again for a second run from 1980 to 1984. During that time, we saw like a wave of immigration coming to Canada, And that wave of immigration, especially in the 60s, people credit for the culture that we see in places like Montreal, in places like Toronto, like Ontario, all of Ontario, Canada. The diversity of Canada, because of that wave, was credited because of Pierre Trudeau. Amnesty that happened back then in the 60s, where Pierre Trudeau allowed a lot of immigrants who overstayed and were in the country legal. He granted them amnesty to come forward and to become citizens of this great nation. And so since that time, Canada, we've seen like a multicultural, that was the beginning of Canada. In particular, Toronto. Toronto is recognized as the most multicultural city in the entire world, with people from over 160 different countries that's taking up residence in Toronto. And so the Liberal Party and Justin Trudeau himself have enjoyed that legacy that his dad pretty much started in Canada, where immigrants love the Liberals. And when you look at the landscape of Canada also, Canada is one of the few countries where about 50% of people living in Canada were not born in Canada. And when you look at immigration and you look at first generation, second generation Canadian, over 50%, way over 50% of people that are living in Canada today, their roots are not in Canada. So it's just like first and second generation Canadian. So the immigration is a big part of what the Liberals enjoyed. And so Justin Trudeau managed to lose all of that within the past 4 years. And that is because of a lot of questionable immigration move that the Liberals and Justin Trudeau did in the past 4 to 5 years. If you go on the street anywhere in Canada now and you talk to people, whether it's from the Caribbean, because the Caribbean, a lot of immigrants came from the Caribbean in the 60s. People came from all over the world, Central, Latin America, everywhere in the world. But if you ask people in the street in Canada today about immigration in the past 4 years, they would tell you that at least 75% of people that they see coming in as immigrants are coming from India. And people are of the mindset that, look, Justin Trudeau was the one responsible for bringing in a lot of cheap labor and exploiting even the new immigrants coming from India. And you see a lot of, and it's so ironic because in his video, he spoke about strengthening the middle class. And the numbers show that the middle class, this is the biggest dip in the middle class in Canada since World War II. What took place from 2000 to today, the middle class completely wiped out. And the people that make up that middle class are immigrants. Immigrants coming from the Caribbean, immigrants coming from Latin America, immigrants coming from all over the world to make up a middle class and to help to build the Canadian economy. So a lot of immigrants now turned on the Liberals because they're like, you pretty much mess up the middle class in Canada in the past 4 to 5 years. We have seen the skyrocket in mortgage and rent. We have seen food prices double in Canada. In some cases, more than double in Canada. So the middle class is completely devastated. We're seeing more homelessness in Canada than we've never seen this level of homelessness in the history of Canada, and this took place under his leadership. So that is the real story. Immigrants in Canada turn their back on Justin Trudeau because with the immigrant support, Justin Trudeau could never lose the election. And with the numbers coming out now, if Justin Trudeau stay on, the Liberals would have experienced the biggest defeat in Canadian political history. Like, his approval numbers are like the worst set of numbers that you could ever see for any politician. So this is the real reason why Justin Trudeau is stepping down because the immigrant community no longer have confidence in his leadership and what happened. So the polling is showing that he was going to be completely wiped out, and the Liberals are in a spot now where they could even lose opposition status. Just imagine the Liberals completely wiped out, that we would have Conservative and then we would have the NDP as the official opposition. Completely wiped out. Just imagine that. So that is what Justin Trudeau was facing, and that is the real reason why Justin Trudeau decided to resign this morning. So, guys, sound off in the comment section and let me know what you think about this. If you're living in Canada, or, what do you think? Do you think that this was really the right move for Justin Trudeau to step down? And do you think there's any possibility that the Liberals can recover within the next few months going into election? Or do you think that this election is just for the Conservatives and the Liberal? They are even going to lose the official opposition status to the NDP. Sound off in the comment section and let me know what you think about this. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. And remember, peace. I'm out.